This is the first video for the 5-1A lesson that is titled Writing Linear Equations Given Slope and a Point. And I'm going to go through slides 2, 3, and 4 in the Desmos lesson. I would suggest writing these problems down and pausing the video, maybe even rewinding it and writing down the work that I'm doing on a piece of lined paper, and then entering in the answers like I'm entering. I'm going to go through the first one, which says write the linear equation that has a slope of 4 and contains the point -1, -6. So this problem, our given info is that our point is -1, -6, and our slope is 4. And our goal is we want to figure out what b is and put all of this together in our equation that is known as slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. And this is slide number 2, so I'm going to number these as I go. So slide 2. All right, I'm going to label my point, which is this is x comma y for graphing purposes. And I'm going to write out my equation right under this of y equals mx plus b. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to color code this and plug in all of the bits of information like so. So y is -6, m is 4. I'm going to put a times dot, or you can use parentheses. X is -1, and b is just b. That's what I'm looking for. So b is my y-intercept for this line, and m was my slope. So I have now -6 equals 4 times -1 is -4 plus b. And I'm going to be solving. So you might even choose to draw on your boundary line and ask yourself, what are you going to do to both sides to get b alone? And I'm going to add 4 to both sides. And -6 plus 4 is -2 equals b, or b equals -2. I'm picking the opposite of this number to add to both sides. And then I'm going to rebuild my equation, which is y equals m is 4, x goes back to x, and b is -2. And I'm going to go into my slide and type it in, and it should give me some feedback that I did this correct. So we have y equals 4x minus 2. You can see I did this correct. There it is in slope-intercept form. You can also do plus -2. And I can see that it is going through the point, and it is passing through the y-intercept that was b, which I did not know when I started this problem. So the goal is to build this equation and write it without needing the graph, and then this graph here is just going to offer some feedback if I'm doing it correct. And then you're going to click share with class, and there is also a calculator up at the top if you need to use a calculator. Next example we're going to look at, this one says we're going to write the linear equation that has a slope of 4 and goes to the point 1, -3. So I'm going to number this slide 3, since this is the third slide. I'm going to label my point, and I'm going to plug everything into y equals mx plus b. And what I might be noticing is that when I plug this in, I'm plugging it in sort of backwards, which has been the case with a lot of things in y equals mx plus b. In that y actually goes in front, even though it's in back in the ordered pair. So -3 equals 4 times 1 is 4 plus b. And to move this forward to the other side, I'm going to add -4 or subtract 4. And there's that boundary line if you like to use it. So -7 equals b, or b equals -7. So we're going to take now these two things, m and b. We're going to ignore this point now. We're done using it. And our equation was y equals mx, or 4x, plus -7 or -7. And then we'll go to our slide and we'll type it in and see if we got this one correct. And there it is. Lecture with class. We have our calculator up there, and we're going to look at one more example. And I would encourage you to maybe even pause the video right now and see if you feel confident to maybe try the setup and type it in and see if you get it correct. And then unpause the video, and also not only is your graph correct, but compare your work with the work that I have. If you don't feel like you're ready for that, then you can go through it with me. So number 4 on your paper, we're going to write 4 comma -3, and m is -2. So first step is label our points, almost like the slope formula. Next step would be write out the formula, which is y equals mx plus b. And then the last step is we're going to plug in everything. Could also highlight this. -3 goes there. 4 goes there. And m, whatever color's left, goes there. -2 times 4 is -8. To isolate b or solve for b, we're going to add the opposite of -8, which is +8. And we're going to get b equals 5. And then our goal is to put this together in our equation, which is y equals -2x plus 5. Don't forget the x. If it's not there, it will graph it wrong and it will not be correct. And there it is. Let me share with class.